Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. I'm CK, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you'll be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening to Apple Podcasts or some other podcast service, please hit subscribe. And if you want to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'd be great. Love to hear from you. Why did I say us? It's just me. La, 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 la. So back in, let's see. Oh yeah, show number 449, which I did, I don't know, about a month ago. I talked about a big secret that it was finally revealed to me. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I had no idea about this. But you're probably going to say, you, of course, knew about it. It's pretty common. Everybody knows about this thing. But I'm the only one who didn't figure it out. And it finally came to me the other day when I was reading a magazine. And I thought to myself, if I look at everything that's out there, if I look at all the self-help books, and all the cooking books, and all the, I don't know, what else, weight loss books, all these books, almost every single non-fiction book, unless it's a biography or something like that, where people are trying to get you to do something, or it's aspirational. It's like, oh, there's a French cooking book. Maybe I'll get into French cooking. Let me buy that French cooking book. Oh, maybe I'll try and lose some weight. Let me buy that weight loss book. Oh, maybe I'll start reading War and Peace. Let me buy that giant copy of War and Peace. Let me fill up my, let me subscribe. I want to be an entrepreneur, so I'm going to subscribe to Entrepreneur Magazine and Fortune Magazine and Inc. Magazine and Forbes and all these other magazines because I want to be an entrepreneur. And the thing that struck me is that with all of this media, and it's not just magazines, newspapers, radio, TV, what am I saying, newspapers, not newspapers, websites, blogs, food blogs, all these things, all of these things which talk about improving yourself, training courses, Coursera, Teachable, all of these things, Fiverr, everything out there where they profess to help you to improve yourself or get to some specific goal. I want to be a startup entrepreneur. I want to build a new kind of business. I want to get into honey making. I want to bake sourdough bread. I want to do all these things, right? And all these books purport to have the perfect recipe to get to the end point. And I call it a recipe, even though it's not just food, it's everything. It's weight loss, it's self-help, it's empowerment, it's becoming rich, blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff. I will teach you to be rich, yada, yada, yada. All that stuff is there. It falls under the same category. It is, if you read this book, read this blog, take this training course, I will take you from point A, which is knowing less about something, to point B, which is knowing enough about this thing, or taking you far enough along the path to go ahead and do the thing. And all of these things, to some degree, do just that. But here's the thing. I was laboring under the impression that these things really were for the people who wanted to hit the end goal, because I'm pretty teleological. I am goal and task oriented. So if I have a goal that I want to hit, I figure, okay, I'm going to start learning about getting to that goal, and then I'm going to take the steps required to get to that goal, right? Because that goal is a real goal that I really want to reach. I don't want to be an armchair this or an armchair that. I want to actually do that. So say I wanted to learn how to run. I wouldn't just subscribe to Runner's World and buy running shoes and then maybe walk here and there and never actually run. No. I would actually get to the point where I'm running. And sure, there's some people who do that, but that's a small minority. Everybody else who buys this stuff, who reads this stuff, who spends money on this stuff, probably never actually gets to the point where they do the stuff. And some of them Or just, they're always going to say, I'll do it at some point. I'll procrastinate. I'm procrastinating now, but at some point I'll do it. I'll do it in a year. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I'm retired. I'll do it. So they'll pick a point in the future and they'll say, that's when I'm going to do it. Or they may not even do that. They say, I just enjoy looking at the pictures or whatever. But some people actually delude themselves into thinking that they're really going to do it when they really won't be doing it. Because we're great at deluding ourselves. Oh, hell yeah. We're great at that. We're great at telling ourselves we're going to do this thing. So I figured out that the bulk of money that people spend on these things is pure armchairism. You know what armchairism is, right? Armchairism is a word that I coined. I don't know if it exists anywhere else, but I'm thinking I coined this word. Somebody should put down that I'm the one who coined it. It's basically hoping to do something and researching doing something and buying stuff to help you do something, but never actually following through and doing that thing. Because I reckon 90+% of people who buy these recipe books or buy these weight loss books or buy these self-help books or subscribe to entrepreneur magazines, they're just armchair entrepreneurs or armchair chefs or armchair sourdough makers or armchair ice cream makers or armchair runners or armchair whatever. They're not really going to go out and do it. They're going to sit in their armchair and they're going to think about doing it. They're going to think about doing it. And when I realized that is the big market for these things, it all fell into place. The reason why real recipes in these recipe books are terrible, because when you try to execute them, most of the time they're wrong. When you try to execute strategies in self-help books, they work for the person who wrote the book, but nobody else. When you try to execute weight loss strategies in some book, it worked for that person or a small group of people that fit into a specific category, but not for anybody else. So the brunt of the money for all of this self-help, change your life, change everything, do this, do that, is all for the armchairist folks. They will never actually execute. They will dream, they will think, they will call it research, but they will never actually execute this. Now, when I came across this revelation, I thought to myself, okay, that's probably obvious to a lot of people. Maybe it wasn't obvious to me because I'm so goal-oriented. I figure, why bother doing something if you're not going to execute on it? And I'm sure I've done these kinds of things in the past, but usually I try to follow through the end because I have this thing. It's like a congruency, right? Where if I say I'm going to do something, I feel really bad if I don't do it. So I have this congruency within me, and it makes me want to, finally do the thing that I've sort of read about doing and wanted to do. But so many people don't have congruency in their lives anymore. They don't want to be congruent. It's the same reason why people ghost people all the time. Or they say they're going to do one thing and then they just stop. They just don't do it. They just don't do it. They don't give any excuse. They just go, meh. They say, oh, I will be there at 10 a.m. sharp, and then they never show. Congruency, right? I would feel bad if I didn't do that. But that's what I'm saying, is that all of this stuff is a huge gold mine. If you try and target people who feel like they're going to do something but never actually execute, then who knows how much money you can make. But on the negative side, if you create these books and that tiny little 1 to 2 to 10% that does execute calls you out, does it matter? You sold the book, you sold the course, but you've probably pissed a few people off. So don't appeal to the armchairism in all human beings. And if you're an armchairist right now, maybe you should think about actually following through on what you want to do, or just give it up. Give it up. If you said you're going to be a runner and you have all the running accoutrements but you never run, just say to yourself, you know what? I'm never going to be a runner. Maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll set my sights on another goal, which is more along the lines of what I might actually do. That's it for me today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.